What's going on, collectors? Welcome into Ross Loves Cards. Today, I want to share a couple of pickups with you. I'm sure you've seen what they was in the thumbnail. Maybe that's why you clicked on this video. But I'm going to start off with Mr. Sam Jethro. This pickup was a gift from Joe Redneck Collector. He knows that I really like Sam Jethro. I like the story about him. He actually came up in the Dodgers farm system, and I think he was sold off for $100,000. I'll have to recheck that, but if I'm wrong, leave a comment down below that I'm wrong, because I probably am about something before this video gets over. But I really like Sam Jethro, and this is an absolute beautiful 1952 Topps Sam Jethro. This is my second 52 Topps. I used to not like the 52 Topps. Everybody would talk about, you know, they like it, and I thought, it's probably one of my least liked sets. And, I started looking at them more, and I tell you what, I bought the Robin Roberts, and that's one of my favorite cards with that gold background with the red hat. I mean, I just love that card. And, this card, Sam Jethro, I love that yellow-green color background. You see it online on eBay in different places, and you think, well, that's, brightened up because of, editing materials. It's not really that bright, but it's absolutely beautiful to me. And, of course, I love the Indian head logo. Just a sweet-looking card. Sweet-looking card. It is a black back. I absolutely love this. I know I've thanked him personally, well, I guess over online chat, video chats, but I thanked him for that. But Joe, thank you again. I still love it. Actually, the reason I haven't showed this earlier is I forgot to show you my second favorite thing about it. Look at that, number 27. I absolutely love a card number 27. It's my favorite number. I've explained that before, so I won't go into detail. But I hadn't showed this yet because I thought, I'd like to get that in one of them bigger top loaders. I just like top loaders. I've got kids. I feel like top loaders are safer for my kids. Not for them, for the card. Kids will be all right with them, but I like to put it in a top loader, then I like a sleeve over it. Something in a top loader like this card is. It's Carl Erskine. See, it's in a top loader with a team bag or whatever type size bag they needed to fit that. I just like the looks. I feel comfortable. I can hand this to my kid. I may have to put a new sleeve over the top of it, but, no harm, no foul there, and just as long as they don't get crazy. Really, as long as they don't pull the card out of this, I feel comfortable holding it, showing them, maybe letting them hold it if they're real nice and I think they're going to behave. But I just feel more comfortable with top loaders, probably because that's what I'm around, or was around more growing up. But I went to the card shop. I was saying, I was kind of thinking about something like this, and, maybe something like this. And I talked with the owner, was there, and he said, well, Ross, I've got one that's wide enough to get a penny sleeve on that. And he said, I've got a top loader that it'll fit in. But he said, right there at the top, he said, on this model, he said, there's about this much that it's going to stick out of it. He says, I don't like stuff like that. But he said, I've got that sleeve, and I'm putting in a top loader that fit. And I said, well, what would you do? And he said, well, I'll just keep it how you got it. And, he just confirmed something I already know, that Redneck Collector is sharper than I am. And that guy is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep it in this card saver. Blanked out for a minute, but I'm going to keep it in this card saver. Get me a graded card box and just go with it. But Sam Jethro, going to my PC of him. Glad to have that. And I mentioned something about a bird dog earlier. And, I got to thinking earlier in the thumbnail. But I was thinking about that. And I'm thinking about me having a bird dog for this. I'll explain that here in a minute. But If I remember right, in the book, The Boys of Summer, Preacher Rowe, Branch Rickey came to get him to sign his contract, and with him he brought 2 bird dogs. And he left them with him. He said, here, you just write down on your contract what you think's right. And he gave them dogs as a kind of a bonus after a good year. And I think the story goes, Preacher kept thinking about it, and he called him back and said, well, I'll take this. And he liked the dogs even better, and he finally signed the contract, filled it out with maybe less money than he was making, or pretty close in there. And he said after he sent the contract off, the dogs ran off. So I don't know how much that is true or how much I'm remembering wrong in that story, but it does tie to Preacher Rowe and bird dogs. But when I used to sell cars, we'd have a spot that if somebody would point us to somebody who was needing a car, help us to sell a car, we'd call them a bird dog, and the owner would send them a thank you. I had a bird dog on this card. And what I mean by that, I had somebody point this card at. Kyle at Collecting America's Pastime texted me, and he said, do you have this card? And I said no, and I told him the story, how I had one bought, and I was really excited about it. And I bought it the same time as I bought this Carl Erskine. And they never sent me my card, and they refunded my money. Well, I'm embarrassed to say I really wanted that card, and I think I paid $65 is what I paid for it, and they returned the money to me. But anyways, I said, yeah, I told them that. And I said, do you know where one's at? And I waited and didn't get a response. So I got on eBay and I started going through. I thought maybe he's having phone service issues. I didn't know what was going on, but I found one on eBay on auction. And I told my wife, I said, hey, bid on this card. And she said, well, how much do you want me to bid on it? And I said, $49. And because that was closer to what I paid to the Erskine. And anyways, before she bid, I said, Kyle, sorry if I'm undercutting you on this, but I want to bid on it. Didn't hear a response. This was like with 3 seconds left, and went ahead and hit send, and I got it for $32. And anyways, he said he was going to try to grab it for me, which I told him he didn't need to, but I sure appreciate him pointing this out. Not only pointing this out, I got it. Well, my math's not doing very good. What was that, $29? No, it's not $29. I got it over $20 cheaper than I was going to pay for it after shipping and tax. So I saved $20. And I tell you what, when I got this card and not the Rowe card, as I was expecting them both, I thought they'll just go great together. I was kind of bummed out over it. I thought, man, I wish I could have got both of them. But that didn't work out, so I got my money refunded. And I got an extra $20 in my pocket with this card. So Kyle, I sure appreciate you pointing this card out to me, and appreciate the thought of you trying to get it for me. But, these 2 cards, every time I look at them, I'm going to think of Joe Redneck Collector and Kyle Collecting America's Pastime. Both of my players that I PC, I've got 6 players that I PC. I may be adding a 7th, but you'll have to watch in the future episodes. We may talk about that. Maybe, maybe not. But I've got 6 that I personally PC that I love to have, that I want each one of their cards someday. And you know what? Getting these 2 cards just got me 2 closer to that goal. So I appreciate you all tuning in to hear about my cards. And I thank you all for patiently listening. Thanks.